My name is George Bartley, and I'm originally from a small town in Virginia by the name of Stanton, nestled in the Shenandoah Valley. And I'd like to tell you or share with you a story about how my father used his passion and creativity to influence thousands of lives in Stanton. You see, when my father was a railroad engineer, and he had a real passion for trains. And when I was 5 years old and my sister was 2, the family went to Kinston, North Carolina. And my aunt, who was living there, said that it would be a real good idea for him to go, for us all to visit the local park. So we visited, saw the amusement train in the park. And it was painted bright red and gold, the colors of the Atchison, Topeka, and the Santa Fe. And my father, of course, was enraptured with it, or enraptured of it. And after we rode it, and of course we children said, we wanted to ride it all day. He said, "Let me talk to the owner for a little bit, just for a few minutes." And of course, with 2 railroad buffs, the few minutes extended into a few hours. And he finally came back and told my mother that, "Well, honey, guess what? I've bought a train." And she said, "What? Are you crazy?" He said, "Yes, he originally wanted $25,000, but I got him down to $20,000. And she said, "Glenn, that's more than our house. What are we going to do?" And he said, "Well, let me ask the children." My father was pretty clever this way. He said, what would you say if Daddy told you that he bought a choo-choo that you can ride all the time?" And of course, we were totally on board at that point. And actually, my father did have a method to his madness. He wanted to put the train in Gypsy Hill Park, the city park, and he sponsored it through the Moose, a service organization, and went to the city fathers, the city council, and got permission, to make a long story short, have the train in the park after getting a loan from the bank. And so we had the train in the park, and my mother now was definitely enthusiastic. Later, she became the railroad engineer, which was back then was really a big deal because this was a very untraditional role for women. And so until my parents' death, they ran the train in the city park. You had, of course, children coming at first, and then parents bringing their children, and then grandparents bringing their children. So, it would really influence the entire area. And in City Hall now, there is a picture of my mother with a caption underneath it, "Linda Bartley, the train lady." And when my father passed away, the flags were flown at half-mast. Now, I want to tell you just a brief incident that I found out after my parents passed away. I was talking to a city council member, and he said that one of the stipulations, and you have to remember this was before integration, one of the stipulations on having the train in the park was that only whites could ride, or only whites could, they said they could only sell tickets to white people. So my father was, in a quandary. Here, how am I going to do the right thing? But I certainly want to have this train in the park. I don't want it to be like a $20,000 toy. So he said, "Okay, I promise you that we will not sell tickets to black people." So he was as good as his word. The train went into the park, and he never sold tickets to any person of color. They always rode free. So I think that form of being able to do the right thing, but at the same time circumventing the rules of the powers that be, is the ultimate form of authentic leadership.